Makin is an educational resource provider. They have titles from hundreds and thousands of different publishers, different books, ebooks, videos, audiobooks, etc. And these are provided for library and classrooms, pre-K to the 12th grade. As I mentioned before, there are 3 sites that Makin has available. There's the makin.com, makinvia.com, and help.makin.com. Now, Makin.com has 3 main functions. It provides information about the products and services offered by Makin Educational Resources. It hosts your school's online management system, and this is where you can manage your school library account, funds, orders, etc. And it is also the marketplace where you can shop for educational resources. The second platform is the Makin Via, and this is the portal where you can access your school's digital resources. The third and last one is help.makin.com, and this is the online help desk, which houses help guides for using Makin.com and Makin Via, and these are offered in both video and written format. Okay, so those are the 3 main components that Makin has. And then the main one, Makin.com, that's where you have the opportunity to shop for different resources for your school. Funds that are paid into the Southern Union Library program for your school. This is where you'll be able to manage and see those funds. Main purpose of the Makin itself, the main website, that's where we go to manage library funds, order resources, and keep track of everything that we have. I'm going to go to Makin Via first, since this is the one most individuals have access to right away through Clever. So the easiest way to access Makin Via, and this goes for both students and teachers, is through Clever. Clever has just been fantastic with keeping everything in one place where teachers and students don't need to access through a separate website. Once you go into Clever, you can access your Makin Via there. I'm gonna show you my Clever homeroom, and this is what the Makin Via app looks like. So to launch it, everybody would just click on that and it'll take them directly to Makin and to the Makin Via. And once it's logged in, this is what it will look like. Now, every school sets their Makin Via view a little bit differently. The librarian or principal or whomever is in charge of this piece, they can set it, or it'll just be defaulted by the way that it's set up, which is typically in a all resources format where everything is formatted in a A to Z. And in the little side drop down, you can change the view once you're in there. Students can change the view if they want as well, so that they can see the resources in whatever format is best for them. So there's the all resources. If a teacher has created groups, then students can click on groups and it would have different groups listed here. Say, for example, a teacher is covering a unit on plant cells, and they have gone into Makin Via and they've collected 3 or 4 books that cover content on cells. They could create a group called plant cells or whatever, 6th grade plant cells or whatever they want to call it, and put all the resources there. And then their students, when they log in, they can go to groups and they'll see that there and they can access those titles. Another option is categories. And if you click on the categories, it will divide the resources by the categories that they are tagged in. So adventure, you can see this one has 162 titles. Animals has 1,172 titles. So these are how the resources are organized if you use the categories option. So, we can scroll down, you see there are so many different categories that are already created in here. One quick thing about how these resources appear here. Each school can elect to purchase titles appropriate for their school and whatever a teacher might need or students are interested in. There's a Makin representative through the union, and she assists with creating custom lists for schools. So for Walker, for example, I needed to get a collection of books that had a higher reading level, but were still appropriate for some of my 5th and 6th graders. They're really high readers, and some of the content that I already had in the library was a little bit too easy for them. So I was able to contact that representative and let her know what I was looking for. That way I didn't have to sift through all the thousands of books that were available to then try to find the titles that fell within a particular lexile range that I was looking for those students. So she was able to compile those titles for me. And then with the Makin funds, I was able to purchase some of those for the students. And then they would show up in here in our Makin resources. Additionally, there are a lot of free resources that Makin offers and other general resources that the union acquires on behalf of schools, and they are all loaded in here over a period of time. So if there's a sale on biographies, or if Makin is giving away, I don't know, 15 biography resources, then those the union would capture and dump in here on behalf of all of the schools. So that's not something that each individual school would necessarily have to go and do on their own. There is a separate tab for ebooks, and this again, you can see this is Walker's ebook library through Makin, and so we have 8,599 ebooks available for students, and you can go in here and let's say we search for dogs. Search for dogs, and it will then populate all of the available ebooks that are in here that relate to dogs. And so students, teachers, whomever, they can go in here, search for a particular title, and then there's an option here, more information. You click on that and it'll give you some more detailed information about what this title is, author and number of pages. It gives the interest grade level, the reading level, lexile, and whether or not there is a text-to-speech option. Some students like to have the books read to them, so this will let us know right away whether or not that book has that option. Then to read the book, we just click on Open Now, and depending on who the resource is offered by. So this one is featured directly in Makin, and this is what the Makin reader looks like. So the student would be able to go in here, open this one book, and they can read it using this particular reader. There are other providers of ebooks in here. For example, some of the titles that are nonfiction are provided through Britannica. So let me try to find one of those so you can see what that looks like. So let me see, all resources. Actually, let's do categories, biographies. Let's open this one, the 100 most influential musicians of all time. So if we open that one, you'll see that this one takes us to Britannica Digital Learning. So they are the providers or the publishers of this particular title. So it will open in their digital platform, and students will still be able to look through and read from here. They can also cite, they can change the settings to zoom however they like, or if there's someone in particular that they are looking for, you use the search feature. I'm Jamaican, so I'm gonna just try for Bob Marley. Let's see if he's in here. We do a search, and okay, so it will pop up on the right side in the search tab if the person that you are looking for is featured in this particular reference. And you can see what page This is the table of contents, so it tells you there where that person would be and then on what page. And you can click on that, and it'll take you directly to that information. So that's just some of the options as far as the different readers that are available through here for the different resources. Like I said, there are many different publishers and databases that this pulls from. So like there's Britannica. Some of the books are set up as ebooks directly through Makin, so you can use the Makin students can use the Makin reader to see those. One other feature in here are databases. So these are the options that the students see. So through Clever, students and teachers see the same thing. So they see all of these options here on the left side. So when you click on databases, there are 24 that are currently available through the Union and the NAD in here. Let me see. So there's the Adventist Edge, there's Bible Gateway, all of the Britannica options. We have Sabbath School lessons. This one is one of my favorite, DK Find Out. So let's open that one and kind of show you what that resource looks like. So students can go here and they have different, I don't know how many of you are familiar with some of the DK books. They provide a lot of fun facts and are informative for some of our younger students. So there's animals and nature, and this is just a cool way for them to explore. A lot of times some of the content is more geared to older kids, but this one is a fun database for younger students to be able to use. There's another one that I think teachers would find very useful and helpful. And let me see if this one, the Lightbox. So Lightbox is divided by grade levels. We've got the K-2, 3 to 5, and then the 6 to 12. And if we open that database, it'll take us to their website. It's already logged in because we accessed it through Makin Via, and this is a subscription that we have. And there are various subject areas that are covered. So let's take a look let's just open the Lightbox on Astix. So once you access this, and students, again, they can do this on their own. This can be something that teachers assign to them. And they'll be able to use this as supplemental, I guess, to our social studies, or if there's something that's a little bit more difficult for some students to understand. This is very colorful. It has pictures and videos. Let me wait for this one. So this one, for example, has a little video. I don't know if you can hear that.
Mm-hmm. We can.
Okay. A lot of these videos are provided through the BBC or National Geographic, for example. So this one just basically shows you where in Mexico that the Aztecs lived. And
this is modern-day Mexico City. But around 500 years ago, it was the center of the great Aztec Empire that covered this part.
So this is just another of the cool resources that are available here. Through Makin Via. There's a little Google Maps icon here. Students can click on that and Google Maps will zoom to what modern day Mexico City looks like. So that's the Lightbox database. Let me go back to Makin Via. So these are just some of the many, I think I said there were 24 in here. These are some of the 24 separate databases that are offered that are not necessarily books. Then there are videos. SchoolTube is in here. I think I just saw that on Clever as well. So I guess that's something we'll be exploring a little bit more. So this is another option and resource that's available here. All right, so basically those are the primary features here in the Makin Via that you access through through Clever. So again, this is what students see. There are advanced search options where you can go, you can customize by Lexile, you can narrow it down to a certain range and apply that, and it'll filter titles. See, my number dropped from 8,000 to 3,895. So there are different parameters that you can use, or that students can use in here to search for different titles. One of the other things, let me see, it doesn't show mine here, my backpack. So I'm going to switch over to the other side and go to the main Makin.com and see if I can't show you some of the features that are over there. So when teachers go to Makin.com, they should have a login and password, typically your email address. That portion of it, if you do not have access to that, that's where you make contact with the representatives at the Southern Union, Mrs. Smith or Miss Tina, who work on this piece. That's the back-end piece that is above my pay grade. But I can show you a little bit around my account and what mine looks like. So typically when I log in here to Makin, and if you remember at the beginning, Makin does three things. It manages the funds. This is where you can keep track of your orders, and it is also the marketplace that you use to shop for resources. So typically when I go in here, I go to my account and I go to the Makin Via section. In here, if you are typically the librarian and the principal are the ones who have access to this particular section with permissions and users, etc. Teachers do have access to see their users and the backpacks, and I think this was probably touched on a little bit in one of the prior sessions. But here for our school, I am able to see the students' NAD/ID numbers, what role they occupy, their names. Right now, we don't have their email addresses in here, and some other details about the students' accounts. From this page, teachers, I'll show you where to go for that. As the librarian, I don't have students assigned to me, so I can still go in and create an assignment, but I wouldn't be able to assign that to any particular students because I'm the librarian. I don't have specific students assigned to me. So say, for example, you wanted to create an assignment for your class as a teacher, where you would log in to your Makin through Makin.com and go to my account and Makin Via. From there, you'll have access to the classroom option, and it says it has assignments and groups. And I think I mentioned before, you can go and create groups of resources for students to have access to. So if you wanted to create an assignment, you click on the assignment tab and you just create an assignment. So say, for example, I wanted this particular book. What did he say? A book about quotation marks. And these are the same resources that you and the students see when you're in Makin Via. All of these titles that we have in here. So this is where you would go and click on Assign It. You would put in how many students are in your class, or say you had a higher reading group that had 10 students and you wanted to put 10 in here for those, or you wanted to assign this to the whole class. You would then set a date range for when you want them to have access. So let's just do that just for example. And then you would click on Save. Now, this bit right here is important, the assignment code. Once the students access it on their end, it will ask them, unfortunately, I can't show you that because I don't have students assigned to me, but nonetheless, it's fairly straightforward here. When you assign a title to the students, they will get a notification of that. And once they go into their Makin Via to access it, it will ask them for an assignment code. So in this example, it's NVC-3 345. So the students would have to enter that code in order to access the resource that you have set aside for them. So that's how you would go about setting up an assignment. In the teacher view, you would see the option to assign it to what student. Again, I don't have that because I don't have a class with students in it. That is the primary thing that teachers, specifically teachers, would need to come in through the Makin.com website and do. There are some other features here that are more specific to the librarian and or principal. So I don't know if there are any librarians or principals on for this call that might have a question about that piece. But if not, the Mrs. Smith and Miss Tina at the union, they can assist you farther with those pieces. I don't want to get into that piece if there's no one here that would be using that feature. So again, teachers would be able to come in here, look at their users by going to the backpacks. You can see all of the students that are in here for your school, and you will be able to use the classroom feature, create groups, or create an assignment. And that's about it for the Makin Via side. Let me show you how to look at resources. So again, this is the main page that you come to when you log in here to the Makin website. And right now there are a few options that you can look at. So there are staff picks. So these are a list of resources that, and I'm going to click on that one. Hopefully it loads quickly. So these are different lists that the Makin staff have picked out for this month, for example, that may be of interest to you. Now, one thing I want to make sure that I point out, Makin is a provider of resources from everywhere. So it is important as Adventist schools that we are cautious in the titles that we select, and that we make sure that we do a little bit of research before we select an item to be added to our libraries. So you can see for April, there are a lot of at-home activities, early chapter books, and things of that nature. Let me go back. You can also search. So let's say basketball. So if you were looking for more basketball related titles, once you type that into the search field, it'll give you some of the different options that they have available: basketball fiction, stories, players, biographies, etc. So let's just do players and see what titles. So here it will populate a list of, okay, let's see, there are 2,500 items that deal with basketball players. And it shows you what the Dewey number is, the reading level, the interest level, Lexile, etc., and the cost. Now, you will see, like, for example, this one is a paperback book. So that would be something that if you purchase that title, they would ship that to you, to your school. There are also filters over here under products. Where's the, okay, so for example, if we wanted a Makin Via ebook, you would click on that one and it narrows down the number of resources to 1,069. Some of the books are for single user. I don't really recommend those. And then there are multi-user books, which cost a little bit more. And then more than one student can be using that resource at a time, if that makes sense. So that's primarily how you would use the Makin.com to search for titles or to look at different resources that they have available. And again, we do have a representative that works specifically with the Southern Union on our behalf, who will assist you in creating lists and kind of assist as your as your shopping expert on Makin. So we do have that resource available to us as well. There was one last thing that I wanted to show you.
Nicole, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Anyone else is bouncing it around out there? If you buy an ebook, I know it says perpetual license. Well, someone will say subscription. If you buy an ebook for this year, do I also have it for next year, or do I have to rebuy it?
Oh, that's another thing. Some of the books are, I think, see, this one says subscription. Some of them are for longer periods than others. Some of them you own in perpetuity. Some of them are based on a certain time frame. So they end after the school year or whatever perimeters are set forth in the license for those titles. I hope that answers your question.
Yep, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm noticing on Brittany Griner, amazing athlete. You see her down on your page there. It says a 1-year subscription.
Yes.
So some of them actually say how long you can have the subscriptions. There's the one up above says 2 years.
Yes.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, you're right.
1-year subscription. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yes. All right. There is one other thing, like I was saying, that I wanted to show you. Let me know if you can see this PDF properly here.
Yes, we see it.
Okay, actually, I'm sorry, let me bounce a little bit and drag this one over. On the Adventist Edge website, there is the section dedicated to library and information resources. I would highly suggest becoming very familiar with this page. There are a lot of resources there about the program and training manuals. For example, let me see. If we go to forms and instructions, there are all of the different pieces of instructional information that would be available to a school that's a part of the program. There are forms here that you would need to submit for different things depending on what you're doing. Also, let me see. The resources page shows you what the resources are, what resources are currently available. So Makin is the first one on the list here. That's the one we're talking about today. There's also the library automation system. That's one of the systems that our school uses heavily. It's kind of my favorite. The Britannica is on here, Learn 360. I don't see EBSCO. I guess that probably has not yet been updated, but EBSCO is one of the services that's also currently available, and I guess they have not yet updated that here. But there are a lot of additional pieces of information here that would be very helpful to you. One of them that I actually pulled down today, I have a hard copy version of this back in the library, but this is a sort of a quick start reference guide. It has, let me zoom out a little bit here. It has all of the information on the different services that are available. Let me scroll down so you can see. So there's Britannica, EBSCO, Infobase, Makin, Mandarin. So it features a lot more detailed information on how to do certain things, how to get started. On page 25, pages 25 through 29 covers Makin, how to access it, what help.makin.com does, Makin Via, etc. So there are a lot of additional resources available to help us get going or to answer questions that we might have related to how Makin works. And if you are needing to get onto this system and your password isn't working or you're unable to log in for whatever reason, please reach out to, I think it's LIR. I don't have the chat. It's LIR support@southernunion.com, and they can assist you with that. Julie Shea, She is the account manager for us at at Makin. So that is her email address, julie.shea@makin.com. Again, Mrs. Smith is the associate director at the union. And then for support, it's LIR support, and I'll just copy paste. LIR support at southernunion.com. So these are the individuals that can help you with, Julie creates lists and helps you find any resource, any specific thing that you may need for your library or school. And then Mrs. Smith and the support team at the union, they can assist you with getting signed on or permissions, accesses, and things of that nature. Okay, so this is the help.makin.com. And again, these are, this particular site, it just has help videos and let me see if I go to overviews, see video, Makin Via overviews, and there are different videos here, and they're fairly short. This one, let's see, categories. Let's see, this one's only 31 seconds.
Categories show your e-resources organized by subject, so it's easy to find what you're looking for. Click on a category, choose how you'd like the resources sorted, and browse using list view or tile view.
Yeah, so that's just one of the little videos they have available there, but they have a number of different ones. I think the thing I like the most about this, they have the videos separated for students and for administrators or teachers and librarians. So that I thought was a really nice feature. Some of the videos show the students how to access different things, how to search, how to view assignments and things like that. And this one tells you about the assignment resource and how to use that, backpacks, how to handle checkouts and requests, the e-reader and things of that nature. So this is also, if you prefer to get the information directly from the service provider, then you would go directly to the help.makin.com website and watch a couple of their videos. They do have some of the help resources available in print format. So they have a lot of different help files that are available here. Again, do you need help with Makin Via as a librarian or administrator or as a user? Of course, the students would be the users, and teachers, librarians, administrators, you would use this option to get information on how to use the system there. So in my opinion, if a smaller school has just classroom libraries, and you do not have a librarian or a designated library space, then I believe this resource is of added benefit to you, because your students are no longer limited to the books that you have in your physical classroom library or their local city or county library. This service allows them to have access to ebooks and other resources that are provided through the conference and the union that they can take with them everywhere. By now, unfortunately, through COVID, fortunately and unfortunately, because of COVID-19, we're all at home, and a lot of us are more familiar with using Clever on our computers or on other devices. So this allows students to be able to have a wider variety of reading material outside of what you have in your classroom. So I think for me and for us at Walker, it has worked well, and the students like it, the teachers like it, and I think it adds benefit and enhances what you already have happening in your school.